Hey there, my friend. It's Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, and I want to welcome you back to another episode here on the Fit Father Project podcast. And today is a special episode because I am joined by Barrey Tanner, one of our Fit Father program members and the third place winner in our Fit Father 2022 transformation contest. Every year in January, we have this incredible transformation contest where hundreds of guys sign up and they really work on focusing on really making a powerful change in terms of both losing weight, building muscle, and just getting their lives aligned physically, mentally, and spiritually. And Barrey was one of our top 3 winners from this entire contest, and for good reason. You're going to hear the story and the incredible journey that this man's gone through. You want to talk about a life that has some of these super high highs with building an incredible global business with his wife, to some deep lows with financial crashes, with major injuries to his shoulder, to overcoming drug addiction. I mean, this all played into Barrey's story. And what you're going to hear as you stay tuned to this episode is a man who triumphed, a man who said enough was enough, and he really wanted to get his health and himself back on track. He made the commitment, he worked the plan, and over the last 5 or so months, he lost 50 pounds. But far more importantly, he turned into like the new, better version of Barrey. The Barrey that was no longer angry, frustrated, and grumpy and couch locked after work. The Barrey now that has family that loves him and supports him, and he feels so much closer. The Barrey that's more positive and getting himself back on track in all areas of life. When I listened to this conversation and had it with Barrey, like I was just inspired in multiple moments that this is a man who epitomizes the power of the human spirit and the fact that you can turn your life around physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually at any age. And Barrey, if you're listening to this intro after we've recorded this, I want to say God bless you and your family. Keep up all the amazing momentum. And I'm so excited for all the years of health and vitality you now get to enjoy ahead. And for all those listening, look, I don't know what your setbacks are. I don't know how old you think you are, how over the hill, how depressed you are. Barrey has experienced all of this, and he was able to conquer and triumph. So listening to stories like these are important because they show us what's possible. So Barrey, thank you for showing us what's possible. And for all of us, let's get into this amazing conversation with Fit Father Barrey Tanner. All right, Barrey, welcome officially to the Fit Father Project podcast, my friend. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm honored to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to having you on too. For those who many may know, you recently took 3rd place in our transformation contest. And it's funny saying that because I know that that is like an afterthought in your story. It's just something that happened to have happened when you entered this contest. But I want to first off congratulate and celebrate you for that. And I'd love for you to introduce yourself as we get into this conversation, your name, your age, where you live, and anything you'd like to share about your family. And then we'll get into your life story and your Fit Father Project journey.
Okay. My name is Barrey Tanner. I'm 63 years old. I live in North Vancouver, British Columbia. I've got a beautiful wife of 42 years. We met and we got married within 6 months. And we didn't have kids until, it taken us about 15 years later. And then life was really good. All of a sudden, jobs disappeared on us, and we moved out of town, came back. I went back to my old profession and ended up buying a company which went global without me even trying. I mean, I went worldwide with it. And then 2008 hit with that mortgage crunch, and the company hit a brick wall. I mean, at that point, I was semi-retired, working 45 hours a week, and I could be anywhere in the world working. And it's my staff were quite capable of handling everything. And then the 2008 hit, and it spiraled right off the bat. It hit a brick wall, fell off the end of the earth. So I changed up the business, got full-time into the custom mill work, and it was good for a little while. And then all of a sudden, just the recession hit here, and I ended up working just me and my wife, who were working 10, 15 hours a day together for 6-7 days a week. Wow. And it was brutal. And I mean, she stuck by me. I mean, that part of it, plus I missed one item in there. I'm 10 years. I was actually now, not to 1991, I went into drug rehab. and she stuck through the addiction recovery, and she's still with me. So that's how amazing a woman she really is. And now we got to a point where we just couldn't handle it. And she was just crying one day at Christmas because no one was sending checks in. We had nothing. And they just said, okay, fine, just sell all the equipment. I'll go and find a job. Within 6 months, I was working for somebody else. And in the first 2 weeks, I fell off. I got knocked off a ladder and fell about almost 15 feet and grabbed myself with my left arm and tore my shoulder apart. And then had 3 surgeries, and I just went literally downhill from there. I mean, I was always a big kid growing up. When I was playing sports, even, I was always kidded about being, the little fat kid who's playing all these sports but not being able to lose weight. And it's just stuck with me my entire life. And then with the rehab from the surgeries and such, I just kind of, okay, I'm going nowhere. I'm literally getting fatter as I'm watching myself sit there. And it got to a point at Christmas, just this last year, after my daughter announced that they're getting married. She's getting married. And I said to myself, I can't do this to her. I'm not going to walk down looking like a bloody penguin down the aisle. And I said, okay, I'm going to do something. And it was just literally days after that, I found something, was a notice came up within one of my emails, and it was the Fit Fathers Project. And I looked at it, I read a little more about it, read some of the stories, listened to a couple of podcasts, looked at some of your YouTubes, and I'm like, that's something that I can get my head around. I've tried diets, I've tried the keto, I've tried anything and everything you can possibly think about. And this kind of struck a chord with me because it's something that worked in with the way my brain and my mind worked. I got to do it on my terms, but I need some guidance. And the project fit that to an absolute T for me. Mm-hmm. And it was off to the races from there. It was like there was no turning back. And I never told anyone. I just started doing it. And like the last times I went on any kind of a diet or a program, I'm going to be doing this and everything else. And all of a sudden, one day my wife kind of looks at me and she says, what's going on with you? You look like you're losing some weight. I said, yeah, I'm working on this. And I just signed up for this transformation contest. And she just kind of snickered. But that's what I get for being the belligerent person I was for a while back there, because I was just really, really down on myself, really down on the entire world. Just one surgery after another, and just, jobs gone. Started the program. And then at a certain point, I just decided, okay, I'm going to go out and try to find a job. I did, and I've been there, and now I've worked myself into the assistant shop foreman. It didn't take much. So, I mean, and life is good right now. It's really good.
Well, wow. I mean, I think yours is a story of perseverance and resilience. And I'm thinking of a couple of those moments. One, the feeling of having your company go global, being top of the world, unforeseen crashes, falling off a ladder 15 feet, tearing your shoulder out, and, supporting your family and gaining the weight and all of this stuff along the way. You find this program, for context, people, how much weight have you lost and in what time frame as you've gone through this?
I've lost 50 pounds. I signed up on the 20th, I think it was 22nd or 23rd of December, but I didn't really start anything until the beginning of the year, because, we had Christmas coming, and I said, okay, I am going to do this, but I'm going to have to start after Christmas, because I'm not going to start going on to kind of a diet program over Christmas, and everyone's just going to kind of all of a sudden look at me like, oh, what are you doing now? I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So I waited. I started on the 6th of January, took my photo and sent it in, and that was it. And by my daughter's wedding, I hit my goal weight of 180 pounds. I started at 230. I hit actually 179.6 or something like that. And I was just blown away because that was the morning of the wedding. And I stepped on the scale and I was a 181 the day before. And I said, for her wedding, I'm going to be at 180 or lower. And I was. And I've been sitting around the 180 since then. And I'm still losing and still kind of thinning out a little bit. And just buying new clothes now, it's like, I can't believe I'm wearing size medium shirts and size small, depending on the brand. And my pant size went from what? Is that 38 and I'm at 32 now. So a lot of things have changed.
Yeah. And I want to talk about those things that have. And I want to let you know, I got chills when you mentioned that moment at your daughter's wedding. I mean, talk about, I imagine that meant just the world to you, be able to do that, to be with her and to have her be proud of what you looked like and to be able to walk her down the aisle in that moment and to have that culmination work out for you. I mean, these are the kind of blessings that I feel like this health gives. So please speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah. To speak to that about the walking my daughter down the aisle, I found out the day of the wedding, kind of the reception from her. She says, up to about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, even though you'd lost all the weight and everything else, I really didn't know if I wanted you walking me down the aisle. And I said, oh, and it just kind of really took me back. She said, I was thinking about having Carl, one of our good family friends. And then she says, I just thought about just everything that you've been through. I've been watching you. I work out with a rehab kin at the same gym that she trains at herself. And she saw my progress, and she says, I'm really happy that I decided to have you walk me down. And when she told me that, I haven't cried in a long time in front of a lot of people. I mean, it was probably one of the highlights of my life over the last 10 years.
I'm so glad you created that moment for yourself and that she welcomed you back in because she saw the work that you put in. I mean, we talk about non-scale victories. That's about as good as they get, I'd say. That's really incredible, Barry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you, what's been your favorite part of the Fit Father program in this weight loss journey? Like, what's made this work for you? What's been some of your favorite parts, and what about this has been like so effective for you to be able to lose the weight and kind of feel like you can now keep it off?
The support from the team, first off. It's anytime I had any questions or anything was there, someone would respond to something or any of the posts that I would put up. It was team members that would respond to it. But it's not just that. It was the brotherhood was a huge thing for me. It's seeing other people and hearing some of their stories and what they were going through, and they couldn't do the sit-ups or the push-ups or that kind of thing. And I'm like, God, I don't feel alone. That was a huge part for me. And the diet, the shakes, I love them. There's two of them that I picked out that I kind of rotate through all the time.
What are those? I want to know because I'm very curious which ones guys like.
The chocolate coffee one, and the vanilla berry blast.
Nice.
So I mean, it's and because I've got to use different proteins because as you know, to bring the stuff up into Canada, they charge us an insane amount of money for the duties. So. Ben gave me a good. I sent in some ingredients and whatnot. He said, "Yeah, those are good replacements." So nice. I've been using them since.
So you use the shakes as a cornerstone of your nutrition. What else has kind of become a staple habit for you? Like, what's the regular nutrition routine that you've kind of fallen into?
It's really not quite 100% with the program, but I start work usually about 4:35 in the morning. So. I usually get up. I have my water. I take my vitamins. I go to work, and at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'll have a protein bar, and then I'll work for another couple of hours, and then I'll have my shake. My job is also almost like a good workout because I do an average of 12 to 16,000 steps a day at work.
Whoa, yeah.
And I'm lifting sheets of melamine. Plywood MDF, they're anywhere from 80 to 170 pounds. I'm lifting them onto a saw, moving them around. So I'm getting a hell of a workout during the day.
Yeah.
and then coming home and doing my workouts and the nutrition. And when I get home, I'll have a handful of nuts, an apple, or I'll sit down. I'll make myself one of the wraps
Hmm.
with egg whites, one egg whites, and that. And it's then I'll have dinner when with my wife and my daughter, the one that's still at home, and
Hmm.
either we'll barbecue. Right now, finally, we've got some decent weather here in Vancouver, and I mean we barbecue any time of the year. But yeah, it's mostly chicken. I mean, salads. I'm big on salads, and now I do at least one, maybe two fasts a week, depending on how I feel that week and what my work schedule's been like.
Nice. Well, speak to that a little bit. I mean, I know you tried a lot of different kinds of weight loss diets and stuff like that in the past. Why does this feel sustainable? Why is this different? Like, is it hard to stick to it? Like, let's speak to that piece. Or even if you were to go back in time and like want to talk to your former self who might have needed to lose some weight, like, how would you explain what this has been like for you in the actual experience of the nutrition?
It's laid out for me. It's not saying that this is what you can eat. You've got to buy our product. You've got to buy these specific foods. There were recipes in there. And even through the Brotherhood, there were like guys would post some of their recipes. I'd try them, and at one point I told my wife, and she said, "Okay, well, we can. Well, I'll work with that," and she did. And it was actually when I decide to do something, I go in. I don't go in half heartedly. I mean, when I started my business, the same thing. When I went to work for this new company, uh, it's just when I really make my decision, that's it. I did that with the drug rehab, quitting smoking, anything and everything that I really put my mind to and say I needed it for myself. And that was the key. It wasn't something like, oh, I'm doing this because someone wants me to. It's because I needed it for me. And
You made that
that
deep
was
commitment.
really
Yeah.
that was really it, because I wasn't going to, as I said, I wasn't going to embarrass myself and my daughter going down that aisle, and I had to do something about it. And the program, with the way the meals were set up and the whole plan, it was hard in the beginning, or it was actually really easy in the beginning, because I was still at home during doing recovery. And then when I started work, it got to become a bit of a challenge, because I started work at 4:30 and I finished at 1:30. And it's like, okay, at that time of day, I don't really want to be I don't do the meal prep for a week ahead of time, because I like to have my food fresh
Hmm.
when I'm eating it. So that made it easy, because my wife's at home and she's cooking. She works from home, so she's always doing the cooking, and she's always letting me, what do you want to have for dinner tonight? Is it going to be this or that? Um, so I've had a lot of support with my family as well, not just on my own.
Yeah. I mean, that, like you've mentioned the word support initially with both the Brotherhood and then obviously with your wife at home and
Yeah,
your daughter supporting you too, seeing the
yeah.
encouraging stuff through the journey. And I love that you bring that to the forefront, because it seems like perhaps that's the structure, and the support is more of like the magic ingredient, something that's doable on your terms with the structure and the support. And that's
Yeah.
that. I want to ask you now about how your body has changed, not just the weight. I mean, you lost a lot of weight, but like your physical body in terms of your strength, your vitality, the amount of pain you've been in, and any other like body markers or health stuff. Let's speak into that.
Oh, where do I start? I've had a chronic back problem for the last 20 years, because of when I started working, doing the custom mill work. Um, that just slowly diminished. I'm off my blood pressure medications within the first 2.5 months. I was very poorly diagnosed when I was a kid for depression, and it wasn't treated. And I've been on antidepressants for the last 12 years now, 15 years. They've been cut in half, and one of them is gone.
Nice.
My pain medications, unfortunately I got a very high tolerance built up from my drug use, and I used to be drinking and taking oxys. And now I'm like, I can't even think about taking anything like that. And I still have arthritis in my feet. I used to walk around on needles all the time, but I wouldn't take anything for the pain. Now I don't. I just feel my whole body felt like it. I don't know. It flushed itself out completely.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I jumped into the diet and did the program, it was like I actually felt physical changes within myself. And now I even think about I see ads for, oh geez, that burger looks like it would be good or whatever. In the past, I'd probably go out and try it. Now I'm saying, I know what that's going to feel like in my gut about 2 hours after I eat it. It's going to feel like a stone sitting there for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I like the feeling that I have that I can, if I want to, I can eat what I will, eat healthy and still eat what I want. There are healthy options for what I want.
Totally.
And I've done it, and I'm doing it.
That's amazing. Have there been any changes to any like lab work or anything on that front? If you care to share, and if not,
yeah, my cholesterol's gone way down. As I said, my blood pressure. I had really high. What do you call it? Kidney issues because I lost a kidney to cancer 16 years ago, and I had my kidney function was really, really low. Now it's gone up, and it's better than it was. Most people have with two, because my diet's cleaned out. I don't drink alcohol anymore. Maybe once in a while. I mean, this whole year I think I've had 6 beers. I used to drink that in the night. So it's like my whole body completely changed. I feel good. I just feel really. I haven't felt this good since junior high. When I was playing.
Just think about that. Saying that at 63 right now is no joke. And to have made such a transformation at such a short time, like I'm always blown away, but particularly here in this instance, like a mix of proud, blown away, grateful that you've experienced this through this program. Mm-hmm. Like a mix of emotions on my end right now. And I'm sure those are mirroring the gamut of emotions you felt over this range of time in this program.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I worked out, there have been times like I wanted to give up halfway through, and I'm like, you made the commitment. Let's just do it. I mean, to coin a phrase that's been out there forever, just do it. And and it was like, you can't not do it. Especially the days you don't want to do it. Those are the best workouts. I find those to be the ones that I get the most out of. I work the hardest because I just want to get through it.
Yeah.
But they end up being some of the best workouts I've ever had.
Well, I think that comment there is a perfect segue into what I'm going to ask you next, is like how this program has helped reshape your mind and your mindset. And I mean, what you just shared is, the idea that now you're pushing through hard things on the back of a deep commitment. And I know from my personal life that tends to make you stronger, have a stronger mindset. How has this affected you mentally and emotionally? You got off half the medications on the depression stuff. So like there's obviously impact happening there. So please speak into that.
Well, yeah. I mean, before the program, that's like I said, my daughter really didn't want to have me walk her down the aisle at the wedding, because I was a belligerent. I don't want to swear here, but I was a very belligerent person.
You can say it. Yeah.
I was a belligerent bastard, period. No one would want to come and talk to me. They would all stay the heck away from me. Now, my daughter comes and talks to me with her problems. My youngest came and asked me, I'm thinking about breaking up with my boyfriend because he's just dragging me down. And I said, yeah, we've been noticing that. And she came up to me and she asked me for the advice, how to let this guy down. And I said, well, I know the guy's going to be a bit of a sketchy psycho, because it's just his personality. And I said, you've just got to be careful. And then I said, go and talk to your sister. And she did. And she came back to me the day of the wedding, and he was there, but she came and pulled me aside and says, I'm breaking up with him tomorrow. I'm like, what? It's like she made the decision, and that's, I guess, when she's decided she's going to start doing the workouts. I noticed some of the pages gone from my book. And she's been doing it, and I didn't really know it. I mean, we talked about it, but what else? How do I say it? It's the journey.
What's it been like with your wife? Her seeing you go through this and obviously supporting you. And let's speak to that, because I know it's one of your most important relationships, if not the most important relationship.
Yeah, it is. I walked into her office. I'm in here now. Everything's kind of covered up behind me, but I walked into her office just the other day, and she says, "Oh, hey, skinny mini." Like, oh, okay. What do you mean? She says, "Well, I'm really proud of you. I really never thought you had it in you." And I'm like, okay. I did it for me, but I'm glad you guys are appreciating it too. And it's just our whole relationship has changed. Where I'm more calm. I sit and I listen to people. I don't sit in front of the TV anymore. I will watch TV, but when I come home, I don't just go and sit in front of the TV and just shut the world out. I mean, we go for walks in the evenings. We go out on hikes, and she was blown away the first time I said, "Well, let's go for a hike." She's like, "What? Where? What? Just up to the store?" I said, "No, let's go out to the canyon." So I'm like, because she's always been into health, but I've been a big anchor in a way, and now I'm just right there beside her.
Yeah, maybe even a sail. Maybe. Maybe.
But the jib,
yeah.
baby.
Okay, you're the jib now. Hey, heck of a lot better than the anchor here.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing. I want to ask you, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice in the early stages, in a couple of things. One, starting the program, I'd like to get some advice, like from what you've gone through, knowing it, what's one piece of advice you give yourself starting the program? And the second part of this question that you also could answer is what piece of advice would you have given yourself maybe 5 years ago in the midst of this, if there's anything that might have been able to shake you up a little bit?
Basically, literally what's happened to me in the last 4 years, just with the surgeries and just the complete down cycle of your life, is, you just let yourself go. And at one point you had a really good life going, and now, and you know what it takes to get there. And why are you just sitting around and you're pushing everyone away, your family, and they're still around? I mean, and I thought to myself, why? It's just, because they probably care. And yet they don't know how to show it because I'm totally unapproachable. So why don't you, think I'm talking to myself, is it important enough to you to get your family back? And for me, the answer was a resounding yes, because I remember what it was like playing with the kids when they were growing up younger. And when my wife and I got married, and I mean, working together side by side and coming home every day, 24 hours a day together, it was hard. And I just kind of said, she stuck by you. If you're not really going to do it for her or yourself, maybe do it for them. But in reality, it's like, if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it for yourself first, because then they're going to come along with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I'm even making sense. I'm listening to myself. I'm like,
no, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know what's in the future for you now. Like, from the stage that you've gotten to, where you're at, what's in store for Barrey, and for all the things you want to do with your family, with your health, with your fitness, with the rest of your life. What's in store?
I want to get back to, I've taken up tennis again. I've started to play golf again. I want to get back out there and enjoy my life. And now that we're starting to get financially back on track, I want to do some traveling with my wife. We've done some traveling in the past, and I'd like to do a little bit more. And I'm not at the point I want to be physically. I want to get a little leaner.
Mm-hmm.
and I want to eventually get off all my medications. But unfortunately, my doctor said your body chemistry isn't going to really work with that. So I'm like, okay, then I'm just going to make sure that I lead a good, healthy life. And I mean, I want to enjoy my life, and I'm going to from now on. Not wanting to, I'm going to be enjoying my life the way I have been for the last 3 to 4 months. In the beginning of the program, it was like, oh God, this is tedious. But you said you were going to do it. And now I'm like, I look forward to my workouts. There's the odd occasion. Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, what I see when I look at you, Barry, and what I hear your words is new life and possibilities from a man who was beat up and down, couch locked after work, depressed, pushing people away, to a man who's got his family back on the back of the serious transformation, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I'll just say this on behalf of our entire team, everyone who's supported you, brother, we're damn proud of you. I know you did this for you. I know you did this for your family, but like in many ways, I feel right now you did this for us too. Like it just so much pride that you kicked this much ass with this program. I got to say, like when I designed this thing, I had no idea that it can make the kind of transformation in the hands of a guy like you who deeply committed. This is badass what you did, and you kicked ass. Very proud
Thank
of you.
you.
Now I'd love to turn the table back to you one more time. If there's anything else you'd like to share in closing about your story, about words of advice, anything that you'd like to share in closing.
If I would say anything, it's probably repeating myself. If you want to do something, you seriously want to do it, you can self-talk yourself out of anything very easily. So just as easily, you can self-talk yourself into something. If you want it bad enough, and if it's important enough, you can do it for yourself. But if you're doing it for somebody else, it's probably not going to work as well as you want it to. It may work, but it's not going to be, you're not going to get the results that you really want because everyone else is watching you. I started doing this without announcing it to anybody because I was doing it for myself. And that made a big difference for me. And obviously it showed with my family because they started to notice and then they asked what was going on. So it's like, do it for yourself. Don't do it for somebody else. Or yeah, you can do it for somebody else, but eventually if you're serious enough about it, it will be for yourself. And everyone else is going to benefit from it anyways.
Wise words, Barry. Again, I really take that to heart too. And that deep commitment that you've made to yourself is, I think, the reason why you're here and we're having this conversation. And that, again, that you took third in this transformation contest that a lot of guys also did. And, we're very proud of you. I appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story, and congratulations, really.
Thank you. And I also want to just say congratulations to Mr. Douche and Mr.
Alan Lammy.
Alan Lammy on first and second. They both did amazing jobs. Very
deserving as well. You guys all kicked ass. It was hard. It's hard to pick. Like, how do you even pick with this? But I got to tell you, I mean, your before and afters, so for someone who is listening to this on audio, you don't get the benefit of seeing your before and afters. But like, I know you feel like you have more weight to lose, but you have a good looking midsection now compared to where it was before. That's what I got to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm entering the room instead of my stomach first.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You look great. So thanks again, Barry. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.